I want you to pause for a moment and consider the exact sequence of events that led you to this specific video right now. You might think you clicked on a thumbnail because of curiosity, or perhaps you believe the YouTube algorithm simply suggested a random piece of content to fill your time. But I am here to tell you, with absolute certainty, that there are no accidents in the universe. There is no such thing as chance. There is only the divine design. This video did not find you by accident. It found you by appointment. You are here because your soul has finally reached a point of readiness. There is a specific frequency you have been broadcasting, perhaps unconsciously, a silent cry for a breakthrough, and the universe has conspired to bring this answer to your screen at this precise second. Before your logical mind tries to dismiss this as mere coincidence, I ask you to suspend your skepticism and open your spirit. There are things that only arrive when the student is ready to hear, and the fact that you are listening to my voice means that you are ready for a shift that you have been waiting for your entire life. We need to begin by dismantling the greatest illusion you have about your financial life. You have been conditioned to believe that your financial life begins in your bank account, in your job, or in the economy. You have been taught that wealth is a physical object that you must chase, capture, and hold on to with force. But this is the lie that keeps you trapped in the cycle of struggle. Your financial life does not begin with money. It begins with a silent adjustment deep within the architecture of your own consciousness. It begins in the invisible realm before it ever manifests in the visible realm. The world you see around you, including the number in your bank account, is nothing more than a mirror. It is a reflection of your internal state. If you try to change the reflection in the mirror without changing your face, you will struggle forever. But when that internal adjustment happens, when the click of alignment occurs within you, the exterior world has no choice but to obey. I know that many of you have spent years, perhaps decades, in the phase of seeking. You have read the books. You have repeated the affirmations until your voice was tired. You have made endless vision boards, and you have worked yourself to the bone. You have done everything right on the surface, yet you feel like there is an invisible glass wall standing between you and the prosperity you desire. You feel like the money almost arrives. You can see it, you can almost touch it, but then something happens. A delay, an unexpected expense, a deal that falls through at the last minute. It stops just inches from your hand. This is a heartbreaking way to live. It makes you feel like you are cursed, or that perhaps you are just not meant to be wealthy. You might even feel that God has forgotten you, or that you lack some essential value that successful people possess. Let me clear this heavy fog from your mind right now. This is not bad luck. This is not a punishment, and it is definitely not because you lack value. The reason you have been stuck is that you have been operating under a fundamental misunderstanding of spiritual law. You have been operating from a state of need, and the universal law of wealth states that wealth never responds to a desperate request. Wealth only responds to an internal order. Prosperity is not a reward for struggle. It is a consequence of alignment. The reason you are here today, the reason you stopped scrolling and started listening, is that there is a part of you that is tired of begging. There is a part of you that knows, deep down, that you were not born to struggle for survival. You were born to thrive. That part of you is waking up. It is a silent point within your soul that is beginning to align with the truth. This point of alignment does not make noise. It does not force things. It does not scream for attention. It simply recognizes the truth. It is the part of you that says, "It is time." The prayer, or rather the realignment we are going to undertake in this video, is not like the other techniques you have tried. It does not work if your mind tries to control the outcome. It does not work if you are in a rush to pay a bill by tomorrow morning. It does not manifest while your heart is still engaged in a battle with reality. We are going to access a part of you that is silent, almost invisible, but infinitely powerful. This part only activates when the conscious mind surrenders its need to control the how and the when. You must understand that the way you have been approaching money is likely the very thing keeping it away. You have been taught to ask, but you were never taught to align. There is a profound difference. When you ask for something, you are affirming that you do not have it. You are vibrating at the frequency of lack. You are telling the universe, I am empty, please fill me. And because the universe is a faithful mirror, it reflects back your emptiness. It gives you more opportunities to feel empty. But when you align, you are vibrating at the frequency of, it is done. You are not asking for water. You are becoming the river. You are operating from a certainty that a higher order is already in motion. Think about the last time you desperately wanted something. You chased it, you worried about it, you lost sleep over it. Did it come? Usually not. Or if it did, it came with great difficulty and then left just as quickly. Now think about the times when things just worked out. You had a calm knowing. You were relaxed. You took action, but it wasn't frantic. That is the state of alignment. That is the state we are going to cultivate today. This video is not just information. It is a transmission of that state. I want to address the heaviness you might be feeling. Perhaps the heaviest burden you carry is not even the lack of money, but the guilt of wanting it. Deep down, buried under layers of social conditioning and perhaps religious misunderstanding, you feel that wanting to prosper is somehow wrong. You feel that it is selfish or unspiritual or greedy. You feel that you must choose between being a good person and being a wealthy person. Let me relieve you of that burden right now. That guilt is a blockage. It is a dam that stops the river. The financial block you are experiencing is not a sign of your virtue. It is simply a misalignment of consciousness. It is a misunderstanding of your divine heritage. You are a child of the Creator. The Creator is infinite abundance. For you to be poor is for you to deny your heritage. It serves no one. It does not help the poor for you to be one of them. It helps the world when you are empowered, resourced, and able to give from your overflow. We are going to adjust this today. But we are going to do it with softness, not with effort. We are not going to fight your blocks. We are going to dissolve them with understanding. Consciousness creates, and money simply obeys. If your consciousness is a battlefield, your financial life will be a war zone. If your consciousness is a garden, your financial life will be a harvest. It is that simple. When the mind is fighting, the flow stops. When the heart is in fear, the door locks. But when there is internal alignment, life begins to reorganize itself. You will find that meetings are set up without your effort. Ideas drop into your mind while you are driving. Opportunities cross your path that seem like luck, but they are not luck. They are the external world rearranging itself to match your new internal map. This is why true prosperity often arrives quietly. It does not arrive with an explosion. It arrives as an adjustment. It fits. It feels natural. Florence Scovel Shinn taught us that abundance responds to order, not to chaos. When you understand this, not just intellectually but with your feeling nature, something inside you begins to relax. The tension leaves your shoulders. The knot in your stomach unties. You stop holding your breath. You realize that you do not have to manipulate the world to get what you want. You only have to adjust yourself to receive what is already yours. You may not see anything changing on the outside yet. Your bank account might look exactly the same as it did 5 minutes ago, but the invisible realm has already begun to move. The machinery of the universe is shifting gears. Before we can talk about the money arriving, we have to talk about what has been keeping it away. We have to look at the invisible barriers you have built with your own beliefs. We are going to dismantle the urgency. We are going to dismantle the fear. We are going to dismantle the guilt. And we are going to replace them with a calm, unshakable certainty. This requires your full presence. This is not a video to play in the background while you wash the dishes or scroll through social media. Prosperity does not enter a fragmented mind. It enters a focused mind. I am asking you to give this your full attention for the next few minutes. Treat this as a sacred appointment with your own soul. You are here for a reason. You were led here by a wisdom greater than your own. Honor that wisdom by being fully present. The shift you have been praying for is not in the future. It is available in this very moment of recognition. Let us begin the work of alignment. Let us step out of the struggle and into the stream. You are ready. Before we can open the floodgates of prosperity, we must be ruthlessly honest about what has been keeping them closed. You have likely spent years looking outside of yourself for the culprit. You have blamed the economy, the job market, your lack of education, or your family background. You have looked at the external circumstances and convinced yourself that the blockage is out there in the world of form. But I am here to tell you that the external world is innocent. The world is merely a faithful mirror, reflecting a blockage that exists within your own energetic structure. To bring in the new, we must first expose the old. We must shine a light on the two silent assassins of abundance that operate in the shadows of your subconscious mind. These two enemies are urgency and guilt. They are invisible, they are quiet, and they are responsible for almost every financial failure you have ever experienced. Let us begin with the first and most deceptive enemy, which is urgency. You might believe that urgency is a good thing. You might think it shows that you are motivated, hungry, and driven. Society applauds the hustle, the grind, and the desperate sprint toward the finish line. But in the metaphysical realm, urgency is poison. Urgency is not ambition. Urgency is panic wrapped in a business suit. When you operate from a state of urgency, you are vibrating at the frequency of not enough. You are screaming to the universe that you are in danger, that you are lacking, and that you do not trust the timing of your own life. Urgency creates tension in the body and spirit. Imagine trying to hold water in your hands. If you cup your hands gently, the water stays. But if you panic and clench your fists tight in an attempt to grab the water, it all slips through your fingers. That is exactly what you do with money. When you need money desperately to pay a bill, when you are obsessing over a deadline, when your heart races every time you check your bank balance, you are clenching your fists. You are creating a constriction in your energy field. The universal substance, which is money in its spiritual form, cannot flow through a constricted vessel. It hits the wall of your tension and bounces off. This is why you often see that the harder you chase money, the faster it runs away. You are literally chasing it away with the aggressive energy of your own desperation. This state of urgency puts your entire system into survival mode. When you are in survival mode, your brain focuses only on the immediate threat. It shuts down the creative centers. It shuts down intuition. It shuts down the ability to see the divine design. You become blind to opportunities because you are too busy staring at the lack. You are operating from the fight or flight response, but you cannot fight your way to wealth and you cannot run your way to peace. Wealth requires a state of expansion, openness, and trust. Urgency is a state of contraction, defense, and fear. As long as you approach your finances with the energy of "I must have this or else I will die," you remain in the vibration of survival, and the universe will only give you just enough to survive, never enough to thrive. Furthermore, urgency breeds a specific kind of terror, which is the fear of loss. Even before the money arrives, urgency makes you afraid of losing it. You are already worrying about how to keep what you do not even have yet. This preemptive fear contaminates the receiving process. You are building a house on a foundation of anxiety, and a house built on anxiety cannot stand. If you do manifest money while in a state of urgency, it rarely stays. It comes in and immediately goes out to a car repair, a medical bill, or a sudden debt. Why? Because your internal vibration matches the frequency of crisis, so the money must be used to solve a crisis. To change this, you must dismantle the urgency. You must realize that time is an illusion of the ego. In the divine mind, everything is already complete. Your provision is already prepared. Your rushing does not accelerate the blessing. It only delays your ability to receive it. Now we must descend deeper into the psyche to confront the second enemy, which is guilt. This block is even more insidious because it often disguises itself as virtue. Many of you carry a deep, subconscious program that says poverty is noble and wealth is evil. You may not think this consciously. You may say, I love money, or I want to be rich, but your subconscious mind holds a different script. This script was written when you were a child. It was written by parents who fought about money. It was written by religious teachers who told you that money is the root of all evil. It was written by a society that vilifies the wealthy. These ideas have taken root in the basement of your mind. You have internalized the belief that if you become wealthy, you will become a bad person. You fear that you will become greedy, selfish, or disconnected from your spirituality. You fear that your friends will judge you, or that your family will reject you. This creates a civil war inside your own body. Your conscious mind is stepping on the gas pedal, saying, I want success, but your subconscious mind is slamming on the brakes, saying, success is dangerous. When you have one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake, you do not move forward, you only burn out your engine. This guilt creates a phenomenon I call the financial thermostat. You have a set point of wealth that your guilt allows you to have. Maybe you are comfortable earning a certain amount. But the moment you go above that amount, the guilt kicks in. You start to feel unworthy. You start to feel like an imposter. And so, your subconscious mind orchestrates a way to bring you back down. You make a bad investment. You overspend. You sabotage a deal. You get sick and miss work. You destroy your own progress, not because you are incompetent, but because you are trying to return to the zone where you feel safe and good. You are literally paying for your innocence with your poverty. You must understand that this guilt is a lie. It is a distortion of spiritual truth. Poverty is not a virtue, it is a restriction. The Creator is absolute abundance. Look at nature. Does the tree apologize for having too many leaves? Does the ocean apologize for having too many drops of water? Nature produces in lavish abundance. You are a part of nature. For you to be poor is for you to restrict the expression of the divine through you. When you are poor, you are limited in how you can help others. You cannot feed the hungry if your own plate is empty. You cannot shelter the homeless if you cannot pay your own rent. Money is simply a tool of expansion. It amplifies who you already are. If you are a good person, money will make you able to do more good. If you are a generous person, money will make you a philanthropist. The block of guilt also manifests as a feeling of unworthiness. You look at others who are wealthy and you think they are special, lucky, or perhaps dishonest. You do not see yourself in the picture of prosperity. You feel that you have to work twice as hard to deserve half as much. You are constantly trying to prove your worth to God or to the world through suffering. You believe that if you suffer enough, if you work hard enough, you will finally earn the right to be paid. But wealth does not respond to suffering, it responds to vibration. The universe does not pay you for your pain, it pays you for your alignment. As long as you believe you must suffer to deserve money, you will keep creating situations that cause you suffering. We are here to shatter these two blocks. You must recognize urgency for what it is, which is a lack of trust. And you must recognize guilt for what it is, which is a lack of self-love. These are not facts, they are programs. And because they are programs, they can be uninstalled. You do not need to fight the darkness. You only need to turn on the light. The light is the realization that you are heir to the kingdom. A prince does not rush to get his inheritance. He knows it is his. A prince does not feel guilty for his wealth. He uses it to govern his kingdom wisely. You are royalty who has forgotten your name. When you release urgency, you enter the flow of divine timing. You realize that what belongs to you cannot miss you. You stop grasping and start receiving. When you release guilt, you open the channel for great avalanches of abundance. You realize that your prosperity blesses the world. You become a conduit, a pipe through which the water of wealth flows to irrigate the lives of everyone around you. This analysis is not to make you feel bad about your past. It is to give you the keys to your prison cell. You have been locked in a cage of urgency and guilt, but the door was never locked. You were simply holding the bars so tight that you never thought to push the door open. Today, we let go of the bars. We acknowledge that the block was inside us all along, which is the best news possible, because if the block is inside you, then the power to remove it is also inside you. You are the problem, and you are the solution. Now that we have exposed the enemy, we are ready to proceed to the cure. We are ready to learn the mechanics of alignment and replace this old, broken operating system with the divine design of ease, grace, and limitless flow. The silent blocks are silent no more. They have been named, they have been seen, and now they will be dissolved. Now that we have cleared the debris of urgency and guilt, we must install the correct machinery for wealth creation. We must move from the realm of emotion into the realm of law. Many people believe that manifestation is a matter of luck or perhaps a mysterious favor granted by a distant deity. But I tell you that the universe operates on precise, unshakable laws. It is as exact as gravity and as reliable as the sunrise. The fundamental reason you have struggled is not a failure of effort, but a failure of mechanics. You have been trying to operate the spiritual machine in reverse. You have been using the mechanic of asking or begging, when the only mechanic that produces wealth is alignment. To understand this is to hold the master key to the kingdom. Let us dissect the vibration of asking or begging. When you beg for something, whether you are begging a person, the universe, or God, you are standing in a very specific energetic position. You are standing in the position of, I do not have. You cannot ask for what you already possess. You do not ask for the air in your lungs, because it is already there. You only ask for what you perceive is missing. Therefore, every time you desperately pray, please give me money, you are simultaneously affirming the law, I have no money. The universe is a non-judgmental, creative mirror. It does not hear your words, it hears your vibration. It feels your state of being. When you broadcast the signal of I lack, the universe faithfully reflects that signal back to you as more circumstances of lack. It says, yes, you are lacking, and here is more evidence of it. This is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It is not a social injustice in the spiritual realm. It is a law of vibrational correspondence. The rich dwell in the state of having, so they receive more. The poor dwell in the state of needing, so they receive more need. This is the great paradox that traps millions of well-meaning people. You think that by highlighting your need, by crying out about your suffering, you will elicit pity from the universe. But the universe does not work on pity. It works on alignment. Pity is a human emotion. Alignment is a divine law. If you stand before a mirror and cry because your face is dirty, the mirror does not reach out and wipe your face. It simply reflects the dirty face back to you until you decide to wash it. Begging is standing before the mirror and crying. Alignment is washing your face so the reflection can change. You must understand that your outer world is simply a printout of your internal program. If the file on your computer contains an error, you cannot fix it by writing on the printed paper with a pen. You must go into the software and change the code. Begging is trying to change the paper. Alignment is rewriting the code. To make this crystal clear, let us use the analogy of the radio. Imagine that prosperity is a specific radio station broadcasting at 98.5 FM. The music of wealth, opportunity, and ease is playing on that frequency 24 hours a day. It never stops. It is never interrupted. Now, imagine you are a radio receiver, but your dial is tuned to 92 FM, which is the station of struggle and scarcity. You can sit in front of your radio and scream at it. You can beg it to play the music of wealth. You can cry and say, I am a good person, I deserve to hear the music. You can work hard to polish the radio and keep it clean. But as long as that dial remains at 92, you will only hear static and struggle. The radio does not care if you are good. It does not care if you are tired. It only cares about one thing, which is frequency. Alignment is the act of reaching out with your hand and turning the dial. It is a deliberate, calm, and mechanical adjustment of your own consciousness. When you turn the dial from need to have, from fear to trust, you suddenly lock onto the signal. The static disappears. The music floods the room. You did not create the music. The music was always there. You simply established contact with it. This is what it means when we say wealth is not something you earn. It is something you tune into. When you align, you stop trying to force the world to give you things, and you start allowing the things that already belong to you to enter your experience. This shift from begging to aligning changes your entire physiology and psychology. When you beg, you are tense, contracted, and small. You are a victim waiting for a savior. When you align, you are expansive, relaxed, and authoritative. You are a creator claiming your territory. Think of the difference between a person who is lost in a city asking strangers for directions in a panic and a person who has a GPS system and is calmly following the route. Alignment is turning on the spiritual GPS. It creates a sensation of relief. That is the greatest indicator that you have shifted. If you feel relief even though the money hasn't arrived yet, you have aligned. If you still feel tension, you are still begging. Let us go deeper into the law of correspondence. The ancient Hermetic axiom states, as within, so without. This means that your external environment is constantly rearranging itself to match your internal environment. Most people try to change the without while leaving the within in chaos. They work two jobs, they manipulate people, they chase deals, but their internal world is full of fear and poverty consciousness. This is like trying to build a castle on quicksand. The structure inevitably collapses. Alignment reverses this process. You focus entirely on building a temple of order, peace, and abundance within your own mind. You cultivate the feeling of wealth before the coin ever touches your hand. You walk like a wealthy person. You speak like a wealthy person. You think like a wealthy person. Not with arrogance, but with a quiet knowing that your supply is infinite. When you achieve this internal state, the divine design takes over. The divine design is the perfect plan for your life, where there is no friction. In the state of begging, there is constant friction because you are swimming upstream against the flow of your own good. In the state of alignment, you turn around and float with the current. Suddenly, the struggle disappears. This is what confuses people who work hard. They see someone who seems to do very little but achieves very much. They call it luck. But it is not luck. That person has simply mastered the mechanics of alignment. They have stopped fighting the current. They have tuned their radio to the station of success, and now success is simply playing through them. Consider the feeling of placing an order at a fine restaurant. When you look at the menu and tell the waiter what you want, that is the command. It is an act of alignment. You do not follow the waiter into the kitchen and beg him to cook the food. You do not worry that the chef will run out of ingredients. You do not sit at the table shaking with anxiety, wondering if you will starve. No, you relax. You drink your water. You talk to your friends. You have a total, unspoken confidence that the food is being prepared and will be delivered to you at the perfect moment. That expectation is alignment. Begging would be standing in the kitchen screaming at the chef. Most of you are screaming in the kitchen of the universe, instead of sitting at the table of life, preparing your napkin to feast. Alignment requires a suspension of the senses. Your eyes tell you the bank account is empty. Your ears hear the bills are due. The beggar believes his senses and panics. The master ignores the senses and believes the law. The master says, "My senses are fooling me. The truth is that my supply is on its way." This is what faith is. Faith is not blind hope. Faith is the scientific application of alignment. It is holding the dial on 98.5 FM, even when you hear a moment of static, knowing that the signal will clear. It is staying at the table even when the food is delayed, knowing the kitchen has not forgotten you. When you master this mechanic, you realize that you are not separate from money. You and money are made of the same substance. You are both energy. When you treat money as a distant idol that you must worship and beg for, you separate yourself from it. When you treat money as a natural element that flows through you like air, you become one with it. Alignment merges the seeker and the sought. The distance collapses. You realize that the gold you are looking for is not in the ground, it is in your consciousness. So, the instruction is simple but profound. Stop asking the universe for what you want. Start becoming the vibration of what you want. Stop telling the story of your lack. Start telling the story of your abundance. Stop looking for evidence that it isn't working. Start looking for evidence that the tide is turning. This is a mechanical adjustment. It requires discipline. You have to catch yourself every time you slip back into begging mode and gently, firmly turn the dial back to alignment. You say, "No, I am not a beggar. I am a receiver. I am not lost. I am guided. I am not empty. I am full." As we move into the practical part of this session, I want you to carry this understanding with you. We are not going to pray to a God who is holding out on us. We are going to align with a God who has already given us everything. The gift is sitting on the table. The only reason you haven't seen it is that your eyes were closed tight in the prayer of a beggar. Now, we open our eyes. Now, we tune the dial. Now, we sit at the table with the dignity of a royal heir, ready to receive the feast that was prepared for us since the foundation of the world. This is the mechanics of alignment. It is precise, it is impersonal, and it never fails. Before we move into the guided deep release, where we will physically remove these blocks from your body, I want to invite you to join this circle of alignment. If you are realizing right now that you have been begging instead of aligning, and you are ready to change that frequency, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel. By subscribing, you are tuning your dial to this station of truth. You are telling the algorithm of your own life that you want more wisdom and less noise. Click the like button as a signal that you are ready to receive the practical work we are about to do. Now, let us prepare the vessel. We have now traveled through the intellectual understanding of your blocks. We have identified urgency and guilt as the silent enemies, and we have understood the mechanical necessity of alignment over begging. But understanding alone is not enough to change your life. You cannot think your way out of a prison that is held in your cells. You must feel your way out. We are now moving from the classroom of the mind into the sanctuary of the body. This is the moment of integration. This is where we take the theory of abundance and encode it into your physical biology. I need you to understand that your body is the instrument through which wealth must manifest. If the instrument is out of tune, the music cannot play. If your body is tight, constricted, and trapped in a state of fight or flight, you are physically repelling the abundance you are mentally asking for. Money is energy, and energy flows through the path of least resistance. A tense body is a wall of resistance. A relaxed body is a superconductor. Therefore, what we are about to do is not just relaxation, it is a biological recalibration. We are going to evict the poverty consciousness from your muscles, your nerves, and your breath. I ask you now to stop multitasking. This is a non-negotiable requirement for the shift you desire. Put your phone down or set it aside where you can only hear my voice. If you are driving, keep your eyes open but allow your body to soften. If you are at home, sit or lie down in a position of total surrender. Uncross your legs. Uncross your arms. Open your palms to the sky. This posture of openness is the first physical signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. A clenched fist cannot catch a coin. Only an open hand can receive. Before we close our eyes, I want you to make a conscious agreement with yourself and with the law. If you are truly ready to let go of the struggle, if you are truly ready to stop fighting the old war, I want you to write a single word in the comment section right now. That word is allow. Do not write it for me and do not write it for the algorithm. Write it as a binding contract with your own soul. When you type that word, you are driving a stake into the ground. You are telling your subconscious mind that the era of resistance is over and the era of allowing has begun. Go ahead. Make the pact. Now, let us begin the internal work. Close your eyes. I want you to bring your attention to the rhythm of your breath. Do not try to force it or change it yet. Just observe it. Notice how shallow it might be. Notice if you are holding it. This is the breath of a survivor, shallow and quick, always ready for the next threat. We are going to change this to the breath of a thriver. I want you to take a slow, deep inhale through your nose, pulling the air all the way down into the base of your spine. Feel your stomach expand like a balloon. Hold it at the top for a moment of silence. And now, open your mouth and let the air fall out with a heavy sigh. Let it make a sound. That sound is the vibration of release. Do this again. Inhale deeply, imagining you are breathing in golden light, breathing in the certainty of your success. Fill every corner of your lungs. Hold it, and exhale through the mouth, releasing the gray smoke of yesterday's worries. Let it all go. One more time. The deepest breath you have taken all day. Inhale the present moment, hold it, and exhale the past. Feel your body sinking deeper into the chair or the bed. Gravity is pulling you down, and the earth is rising up to support you. You are safe. You are held. You are supported. Now we are going to scan your body for the pockets of resistance where poverty hides. Bring your attention to your jaw. The jaw is where we hold control. It is where we hold the words we didn't say and the anger we swallowed. It is where we clench our teeth in determination to make it happen. I want you to unclench your teeth. Let your jaw hang slightly loose. Let the tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. Release the need to control the outcome. You do not need to grit your teeth to get money. Soften. Move your attention down to your shoulders. These muscles are often where we carry the weight of the world. You have been walking around acting as the general manager of the universe, trying to solve everyone's problems, trying to carry burdens that do not belong to you. It is exhausting. I want you to visualize that you are taking off a heavy backpack filled with rocks. Drop your shoulders down, away from your ears. Let them melt. You are not Atlas. You do not have to hold up the sky. The sky holds itself. Let go of the responsibility for things you cannot control. Move your awareness down to your hands. Are they curled into fists? Are they tight? Your hands are the instruments of receiving. If they are tight, they are signaling I must grab. We are moving from grabbing to receiving. Open your fingers completely. Feel the energy tingling in your palms. Imagine that your hands are resting in a stream of cool, clear water. The water is abundance. It flows over your hands and through your fingers. You do not have to grab the water. If you grab it, you lose it. If you cup your hands gently, you have an infinite supply. Soften your hands. Now, bring your focus to your stomach, your solar plexus. This is the emotional brain. This is where the knot of anxiety lives. This is where you feel the punch of a bill you can't pay. This is where you feel the nausea of urgency. I want you to imagine a warm, golden sun glowing in the center of your stomach. Feel the heat of it dissolving the knot of ice. The urgency is melting away. The fear of survival is evaporating. Tell your stomach that the war is over. There is no tiger chasing you. There is no famine. You are in the flow of the divine design. Let your belly become soft and pliable. A soft belly is a sign of deep trust. As your body softens, we are going to perform a spiritual eviction. We are going to release the 3 specific burdens we discussed earlier. I want you to visualize struggle as a heavy, gray coat you have been wearing for years. It is scratching your skin. It smells like sweat and fear. You thought this coat kept you safe. You thought struggling made you worthy, but it only made you tired. Visualize yourself standing up in your spirit, taking that coat off your shoulders and letting it drop to the floor. Step away from it. Feel the cool air on your skin. You are no longer the person who struggles. You are the person who flows. Say silently to yourself, I release the need to struggle. Now visualize guilt. This might look like heavy chains around your ankles, keeping you small, keeping you from moving forward into your greatness. You wore these chains because you didn't want to outshine others. You wore them to be good, but they serve no one. Look at the chains. See them turning into dust. They simply disintegrate. You are free to move. You are free to ascend. Your rising does not hurt anyone. It lifts everyone. Say silently to yourself, I release the guilt of having. Finally, visualize fear of loss. This is a shield you hold in front of your heart. You are protecting yourself from being hurt, but that shield is also blocking the love and the wealth from entering. It is heavy and your arms are tired. Lower the shield. Lay it down. Trust that your safety comes from your alignment, not your defense. When you are aligned with the divine, you are protected by a wall of fire, not a shield of iron. You do not need to defend what is yours by divine right. It cannot be taken. Say silently to yourself, I release the fear of losing. Feel the lightness in your body now. You are spacious. You are empty of the old debris. This emptiness is not a lack. It is a capacity. You have carved out a valley in your soul so that the river of substance can flow in. Nature abhors a vacuum. Now that you have emptied out the fear, the universe must rush in to fill you with peace. Feel that peace settling into your bones. It is a heavy, warm, golden sensation. It feels like stability. It feels like knowing. This state you are in right now is the 0 point. It is the point of creation. It is the fertile soil. In this state, you are magnetic. You are not broadcasting a signal of help me. You are broadcasting a signal of I am ready. The cells of your body are no longer vibrating with the chaotic frequency of panic. They are vibrating with the steady, rhythmic hum of the universe. You are in tune. You are aligned. Stay in this feeling. Memorize it. This is your true home. The frantic person you were 5 minutes ago was an illusion. This calm, expansive, open presence is who you really are. You did not come here to survive. You came here to thrive. And thriving starts with this feeling of safety. You are safe to succeed. You are safe to have money. You are safe to be powerful. Allow this relaxation to go even deeper. Let it touch the marrow of your bones. Let it rewrite your DNA. You are changing the baseline of your nervous system from danger to safety. And in this safety, the miracle can finally take root. The ground is prepared. The weeds are pulled. The soil is watered. You are now ready to plant the new seed. You are now ready to establish the new covenant. Stay open. Stay soft. Stay with me. Now that the space within you has been cleared and the debris of the old self has been swept away, we stand at a pivotal moment in your spiritual history. You are currently an empty vessel, clean and open, but nature abhors a vacuum. If we do not consciously fill this space with a new truth, the old lies will eventually creep back in. Therefore, we must act with decision. We must establish a new covenant. We are going to write a new contract between you and the energy of money. This is not a metaphor. This is a vibrational reset of your relationship with the substance of the universe. For most of your life, you have likely been living under an old, unconscious contract with wealth. That old contract stated that money was the master and you were the slave. It stated that money was scarce, hard to get, and easy to lose. It stated that you had to sacrifice your health, your time, and your peace just to get a few scraps from the table of abundance. In that old relationship, you treated money like a distant, cruel idol that you had to worship and appease. You gave money the power to determine your happiness. You gave money the power to determine your worth. You elevated a piece of paper and a digital number above your own divine soul. That ends right now. Florence Scovel Shinn taught us to tear down the scarecrow of lack. A scarecrow has no power. It is only terrifying if you believe it is real. We have torn it down. Now we must build the temple of truth. The truth is this: money is not a god. Money is not a master. Money is energy. And more specifically, money is obedient energy. It has no will of its own. It has no discrimination. It simply obeys the loudest command it hears. For years, your loudest command has been fear, so it obeyed by running away. Now, we are going to issue a new command based on authority and calm dominion. Understand the physics of this relationship. Energy flows like water. It needs a container. It needs direction. You are the director. When you chase money, you are putting yourself in a subordinate position. You are saying, "You are the prize, and I am the hunter." But in the realm of energy, that which you chase moves away from you. It is the law of polarity. To bring money close, you must stop chasing and start commanding. But you do not command with arrogance or force. You command with the magnetic power of your own stability. Money is a servant that requires a calm master. Think about a servant or an employee. If the boss is frantic, screaming, disorganized, and insecure, the servant becomes confused and inefficient. The servant looks for a way to leave that chaotic environment. But if the boss is calm, clear, appreciative, and knows exactly what needs to be done, the servant works happily and efficiently. You have been a frantic master. You have been screaming at your finances with your anxiety. You have been repelling the very help you desire. Today, you take your seat on the throne of your own life. You become the calm master. You realize that wealth wants to be with you. It wants to be used by you. It wants to circulate through you because you are a vehicle of good in the world. We must also address the moral confusion that pollutes this relationship. Under the old covenant, you may have believed that money is evil or that poverty is spiritual. Let us correct this. Money is neutral. It is an amplifier. If you are a greedy person, money will make you more greedy. But if you are a generous, loving, and visionary person, money will make you a philanthropist, a healer, and a change maker. God is the giver of all good gifts. Do you think the infinite intelligence wants its children to be starved, stressed, and limited? No. The divine design for your life is expansion. When you have resources, you have options. When you have options, you have freedom. And freedom is the nature of the spirit. By accepting wealth, you are accepting your responsibility to expand the light in this world. So, let us draft the terms of this new covenant. You are no longer a beggar at the gate. You are the owner of the estate. In this new relationship, you do not work for money. Money works for you. You do not worry about the supply because you know the source is infinite. A person standing by the ocean does not worry if he takes a bucket of water that the ocean will run dry. Your supply is the ocean. Your consciousness is the bucket. Today, we are making your bucket bigger. I want you to internalize these declarations. These are the clauses of your new contract. Feel them settling into your bones, replacing the old code of lack. First, declare this: my value is inherent, not earned. You do not need to suffer to deserve money. You do not need to bleed to deserve money. You are worthy simply because you exist. The sun does not ask the flower to pay for its light. The flower receives, because it is open. You are the flower. The wealth is the light. Open yourself and receive without apology. Second, declare this: I am a beneficial presence on this planet, and my prosperity blesses everyone. Release the fear that your gain is someone else's loss. That is the lie of the competitive plane. On the creative plane, there is enough for everyone. When you prosper, you spend. When you spend, you circulate. When you circulate, you feed others. Your wealth lifts the economy of your community. Your wealth inspires others to dream. Your poverty serves no one. Your prosperity serves the whole. Third, declare this: I trust the timing of my life. This is crucial. In the old covenant, you needed money right now, or you would panic. In the new covenant, you understand that there is a rhythm to the harvest. You plant, you water, you wait, and you reap. You do not dig up the seed in anxiety. You trust that the invisible intelligence is orchestrating the perfect delivery system for your good. You trade urgency for certainty. Fourth, declare this: I am now open to receive in miraculous ways. We must release the tyranny of the how. Under the old contract, you thought you had to figure out exactly how the money would come. You limited the universe to your salary, your job, or your current clients. You told the infinite exactly how small to be. In the new covenant, you release the how. The how is the domain of God. The how is none of your business. Your business is the what. You define the abundance. The universe defines the path. When you release the how, you open the doors to miracles. Checks in the mail, unexpected refunds, new ideas, chance meetings, gifts. You allow the universe to surprise you. As you accept these terms, feel the shift in your posture. You are sitting taller. There is a dignity in your spirit. You are no longer the victim of the economy. You are the creator of your own economy. You are establishing a zone of abundance around you that is impervious to the headlines of the news. This is what it means to be in the world, but not of it. The world may be in recession, but your spirit is in expansion. And because your world is a reflection of your spirit, your personal world must expand. This new covenant requires maintenance. You cannot sign it today and forget it tomorrow. Every time you feel the old fear rising, every time you catch yourself worrying about a bill, you must gently but firmly remind yourself of the contract. You say to yourself, "No, that is the old way. I do not do that anymore. I am under a new covenant. My supply is guaranteed." You must discipline your mind to stay in the position of the master. If the servant, money, seems late, you do not panic. You wait with expectation, knowing it is on its way. Understand that money is looking for a home. It is looking for a person who respects it, but does not fear it. It is looking for a person who uses it wisely, but holds it loosely. Be that person, be the safe harbor. When you stop clinging, you become magnetic. When you stop fearing loss, you become a container that can hold more. The universe is trying to give you everything, but your hands have been too clenched to catch it. Now your hands are open. The contract is signed. The relationship is healed. You are now walking in what Florence Scovel Shinn called the divine design. In this design, there is no sorrow with the blessing. There is no heavy consequence. There is only grace. All that is mine by divine right is now released and reaches me in great avalanches of abundance, under grace in miraculous ways. That is the anthem of the new covenant. Memorize it, speak it, live it. As we move into the final phase of this process, carry this feeling of nobility with you. You have been promoted. You are no longer begging for crumbs. You are preparing the banquet. The energy of money is listening to you right now. It feels your change in vibration. It is turning its direction towards you. It is preparing to rush in to fill the space you have created. Stand your ground, hold your peace, and let the blessing arrive. We have now arrived at the most advanced and paradoxical stage of this entire process. This is the stage where the amateur separates from the master. It is the phase that the human ego resists more than any other because it goes against every instinct of survival you have been taught since birth. We call this the art of active silence. You have cleared the blocks. You have established the new covenant. You have planted the seed of wealth in the soil of your subconscious. Now comes the inevitable question that screams from the logical mind, which is, what do I do now? The answer is the hardest instruction you will ever receive. The answer is nothing. But do not mistake this nothing for laziness or passivity. There is a profound difference between the empty silence of apathy and the charged silence of trust. We are talking about the latter. We are talking about a state of being so full of faith that action becomes unnecessary because the vibration does the work. In our modern world, we are addicted to movement. We are obsessed with the hustle. We believe that if we are not physically moving, sweating, and straining, then we are not making progress. We equate effort with value. We think that if we want a big result, we must exert a big force. But in the metaphysical realm, the opposite is true. Force negates flow. The more you force, the more resistance you create. Think of a Chinese finger trap. The harder you pull your fingers apart, the tighter the trap becomes. It is only when you relax and push in that you are released. Active silence is the spiritual act of pushing in. It is the act of stopping the physical struggle so that the spiritual law can take over. Florence Scovel Shinn often quoted the scripture, "Stand still and see the salvation." This stand still is not a suggestion to be idle. It is a command to hold your ground. It means maintaining your vibrational stance even when the external world has not yet shifted. Let us use the analogy of the archer to understand this art. The archer spends time selecting the arrow. That is your desire. He spends energy pulling back the bowstring. That is your alignment and your visualization. He aims with precision. That is your focus. But there comes a moment, the most critical moment of all, where the archer must simply release the string. Once the arrow is flying, the archer does nothing. He does not run after the arrow and try to push it. He does not scream at the arrow. He stands in absolute stillness, watching the flight, trusting his aim, and trusting the physics of the bow. You have just pulled the bow. You have aimed at abundance. Now, in this section of our journey, you must release the string. If you keep holding the string, the arrow cannot fly. If you try to manipulate the arrow mid-flight, you will ruin the shot. Active silence is the discipline of the released string. It is the knowing that the work has been done, and the result is inevitable. Why is this so difficult? Because your ego wants credit. Your ego wants to be the one who made it happen. It wants to say, I worked hard, I manipulated the people, I forced the door open. When you practice active silence, you are admitting that there is a power greater than you at work. You are surrendering the how. This terrifies the control freak within you. The control freak wants to check the email every 5 minutes. It wants to send that desperate text message. It wants to check the bank account to see if the money appeared yet. I am telling you now that every time you check with anxiety, you are digging up the seed. Imagine you have planted a garden. You put the seed in the dark, moist soil. You watered it. Now, the seed is doing the most important work of its life. It is cracking open. It is sending out delicate roots. It is reaching for life. But this process happens entirely in the dark. It happens in silence. If you go out to the garden every hour and dig up the seed to see if it is growing, what happens? You kill it. You expose it to the light before it is ready. You disturb the roots before they can hold. This is exactly what you do to your financial dreams when you refuse to be silent. Your doubt is the shovel that digs up the seed. Your impatience is the sunlight that scorches the young sprout. Active silence is the discipline of leaving the seed alone. It is having the confidence to look at the bare patch of dirt and say, I know a harvest is coming, even when you see absolutely no evidence of green on the surface. While you are holding this silence, while you are sitting in this do-nothing state, do not be deceived into thinking that nothing is happening. On the contrary, this is when everything is happening. This is when the invisible machinery of the universe kicks into high gear. While you are breathing and trusting, the infinite intelligence is moving the chess pieces on the board of life. It is putting an idea into the head of a stranger who will offer you an opportunity next week. It is aligning the traffic lights so you meet the right person. It is softening the heart of a difficult client. It is rearranging the economy of your personal world. This reorganization is too complex for your human brain to understand or manage. If you try to interfere, you will only mess up the delicate timing. You must get out of the way. Your anxiety is simply static interference on the line. When you go silent, the signal becomes clear, and the universe can download the delivery system for your wealth. Consider the muddy water. If you have a jar of water filled with mud and you want it to be clear, what do? Do you stick your hand in and try to push the mud down? Do you shake the jar? No. The more you intervene, the muddier it gets. The only way to clear the water is to leave the jar absolutely alone. You set it on the table and you walk away. In the silence, in the stillness, the heavy mud begins to settle to the bottom and the clear water rises to the top. Your life right now is a jar of muddy water. You've been shaking it with your fear, your urgency, and you're scrambling for money. Now, I am asking you to set the jar down. Take your hands off it. Let the mud of your problems settle. It will happen by law, not by effort. The clarity you seek, the solutions you need, will appear naturally when you stop agitating the vessel. This brings us to the concept of inspired action versus forced action. Active silence does not mean you will never move again. It means you will not move from fear. There is a huge difference. Forced action comes from the head. It is exhausting, frantic, and usually hits a wall. Inspired action comes from the silence. It arises from the gut. It feels like play, and it opens doors effortlessly. When you hold the silence long enough, you will eventually get a nudge. A quiet idea will drop into your mind. Call this person, go to this place, write this email. It will not feel like a scream. It will feel like a whisper. It will feel light. That is the universe inviting you to dance. That is when you move. You move not to make it happen, but to be there when it happens. Until you get that nudge, your job is to stand guard at the gate of your mind and keep the doubt out. This practice requires the strength of a mountain. It is easy to run around like a chicken with its head cut off. It takes no character to panic. But to sit in a chair with bills due and uncertainty swirling, and to breathe deeply and say, I am provided for, that takes the heart of a lion. That is spiritual maturity. You are proving to yourself and to the universe that you are no longer a slave to appearances. You are demonstrating that your internal reality is more real to you than the external illusion. This demonstration is what seals the spell. When you can look at the lack and feel the abundance, the lack must vanish. It has no choice. It is a law of physics. Two things cannot occupy the same space at the same time. You cannot hold the vibration of abundance and the reality of lack simultaneously. One must yield. And since your vibration is the cause and the world is the effect, the world must yield. So, how do you practice this in the next few minutes, hours, and days? You do it by fasting from urgency. When the impulse comes to check your phone, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, am I checking this out of fear or out of flow? If it is fear, put the phone down. Return to the silence. Return to the affirmation. I receive wealth with peace. Wait until the panic subsides. Only when you are calm do you engage with the world. You do it by refusing to discuss your financial problems with people who cannot help you. Talking about your lack is just another form of noise. It stirs up the mud. Keep your counsel with the divine. Silence is a container that builds power. The more you talk about your plans and your problems, the more you leak your energy. Seal the container. Let the pressure build inside. That pressure will eventually explode outward as a manifestation of success. You are becoming a person of weight, a person of substance. When you enter a room carrying this kind of silence, people feel it. They trust you. Money trusts you. Opportunities gravitate toward you because you are a stable center in a chaotic world. You are no longer the leaf blowing in the wind. You are the tree rooted deep in the earth. The wind blows, the storms come, but the tree does not run. It stands, and because it stands, it grows. The fruit comes in its season, not because the tree screamed for it, but because the tree remained rooted in the source. As we conclude this section, I want you to feel the relief of this permission. You have permission to stop fighting. You have permission to take your armor off. The battle is not yours. The battle is the Lord's. Your job is the alignment. The universe's job is the assignment. Stay in your lane. Do your work, which is the work of the heart and mind, and let the infinite do its work, which is the orchestration of the miracle. Enjoy the silence. It is not empty. It is pregnant with your destiny. It is the womb of your new life. Rest in it. Trust it. And watch what is born from it. We have traveled a great distance together in this short time. We began this journey in the darkness of the bedroom, crushed by the invisible weight of urgency and paralyzed by the silent guilt of wanting more. We have journeyed through the mechanics of the mind, exposing the subconscious as a faithful servant that has been given the wrong orders. We have dismantled the old covenant of struggle and established a new covenant of ease. We have learned the terrifying but liberating art of active silence. Now we arrive at the final threshold. This is the moment where knowledge transforms into wisdom, because knowledge is just information stored in the brain, but wisdom is information applied by the will. You can listen to 1,000 videos like this one, and your life will remain exactly the same if you do not take the final step of embodiment. You are not merely a biological organism struggling to survive on a spinning rock. You are not a victim of your genetics, your upbringing, the economy, or the government. You are a sleeping giant. For too long, you have been hypnotized by the illusion of smallness. You have been told that you are limited, that you are lucky to just get by, and that struggle is noble. That heavy feeling you wake up with is not the weight of the world. It is the weight of your own dormant power pressing against the small box you have tried to fit yourself into. The anxiety you feel is simply the energy of your own greatness turned inward because it has nowhere else to go. It is time to wake the giant. It is time to snap the chains of the old identity like thread. When you wake up tomorrow morning, the old world will still be there. The problems will not have vanished overnight. The circumstances may look identical to how they look today, but the difference must be you. The miracle is not that the mountain moves. The miracle is that the climber changes. When you place your hand on your heart tomorrow, you are making a declaration of war against mediocrity. You are stating that you are no longer available for the narrative of victimhood. You are no longer available for the luxury of self-pity. You are standing up in the center of your own life and taking command of the ship. This is the ultimate choice, and you have to make it every single day. The transformation we have initiated is not a pill you take once. It is a daily coronation. Every sunrise offers you a blank page. You can fill that page with the scratching of old complaints and the ink of new tears, or you can write a masterpiece of divine right. The universe is holding the pen, but you are dictating the words. Do not let your past dictate your future. Your past is a dead thing. It has no power over you unless you drag its corpse into the present moment. Leave the dead to bury the dead. You are alive. You are here. You You are the portal through which the infinite intelligence wants to express itself. I want you to understand the magnitude of what we are discussing. We are talking about the alchemy of the human spirit. We are talking about turning the lead of fear into the gold of faith. This is the work that the great masters of history have pointed to. Florence Scovel Shinn, the mystics, the prophets, they all told us the same thing. The kingdom is within. The power is within. The divine design is within. You have been looking for the key to the door of abundance out there in the world, trying to force locks and break down walls, when all along the key was hanging around your neck. The key is your alignment. The key is your specific, intentional vibration during those first few minutes of the day and in the silence of the night. Now comes the moment of commitment. It is easy to feel inspired while watching a video. It is easy to nod your head and say yes while the music is playing and the words are flowing. But what happens when the video ends? What happens when the silence returns? This is why I am asking you to take a physical action right now. I am asking you to seal this covenant with yourself. I do not want you to just think it. I want you to write it. There is a magic in bringing a thought down from the mental plane and crystallizing it into physical words on a screen. This act of writing seals the spell. It moves the energy from the ethereal to the material. I challenge you to go to the comment section right now. Do not wait. I want you to write the new law of your life. I want you to type these specific words. I receive wealth with peace. When you type those words, you are not just leaving a comment for an algorithm. You are signing a contract with the universe. You are driving a stake into the ground. You are telling your subconscious mind that this is not a drill. You are telling the community of like-minded souls that you are one of them. Imagine if thousands of us write this. Imagine the vortex of energy we create. We are building a digital cathedral of intention. Add your brick to the wall. Declare it. Own it. I receive wealth with peace. Let that be the last thing you do today and the first truth you live tomorrow. And do not stop there. The law of circulation states that you cannot keep what you are not willing to give away. If this message has sparked a light in your dark room, if it has lifted even an ounce of that weight from your chest, you have a spiritual obligation to share it. There is someone in your life right now who is suffering. There is someone waking up with a heavy chest, thinking they are broken, thinking they are alone. Be the vessel of their deliverance. Send this video to them. Post it on your social media. Not for my sake, but for the sake of the truth. When you share prosperity consciousness, you multiply it in your own life. You become a river, not a reservoir. The river creates life wherever it flows. The reservoir eventually becomes stagnant. Be the river. I also invite you to subscribe to this channel. Do not look at the subscribe button as a metric. Look at it as a door. By clicking it, you are stepping into a sanctuary. You are joining a school of thought that refuses to accept the limitations of the physical world. We are building a community here that operates on a higher frequency. When you subscribe, you are telling the universe that you want more of this truth. You are prioritizing your spiritual growth above your digital distraction. You are making a statement that you are a student of the great law. Join us, walk with us. Let us remind you of who you are when the world tries to make you forget. As you step forward from this moment, remember that the game of life is played in the mind, but it is won in the heart. You have the tools now. You know the mechanics of alignment. You have identified the silent enemies of urgency and guilt. You have practiced the release. You have established the new covenant. There are no more excuses. The only thing standing between you and the life of your divine design is the discipline to apply what you know. Do not let the skeptic steal your crown. Do not let the echo of the past drown out the voice of the future. Tomorrow morning, when the sun rises, it rises for you. The birds sing for you. The air fills your lungs for you. The entire machinery of the cosmos is conspiring to support the person you decide to be. So decide to be great. Decide to be fearless. Decide to be the master. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe in the power of the universe and stand still in the active silence. You are not the same person who started this video. The old version of you, the one who begged and chased, has dissolved. The new version of you, the one who aligns and receives, has taken the throne. Wear your crown with humility, but wear it with confidence. You are protected, you are guided, you are loved, and you are ready. And it has been my honor to serve as a reminder of your own divinity. Go now, and let your life be the proof of the law. Speak wisely, for your world is listening. Act calmly, for your supply is guaranteed. I will see you in the next video, but more importantly, I will see you in the light of your own victory. The wealth is yours. The peace is yours. The appointment has been kept. It is done.